Yeah.
And then we have this visqueen. I think with all of this together, we can definitely block it out.
Visqueen. Visqueen.
You know, this queen is gonna go over there.
Oh, let's go! Get out.
Hey, I'm Valentina V and welcome to 4-Minute Film School. Today we are lighting interiors with the exterior in mind. And the exterior, it's pretty good. Welcome to my apartment. Let's go. Confession, it's not my apartment. We rented this for the set, but like, how cool would it be if it were? We are on the 22nd floor of a skyscraper in downtown LA, and we have the coolest view. I wanted it because I wanted to show you how to control your lighting when you have big windows and a lot of stuff in the back that you want to show. But if it's properly exposed on me, it's blown out in the background. And if you expose for the background, then I am too dark. So how do we work with those contrast ratios? How do we work in a high contrast environment? How do we use the dynamic range of our camera and then add lighting on top of it to make something evenly lit and well proportioned? Today, I'm super excited to have my friend and fellow filmmaker, Kevin Reyes, joining me to help me out. Kevin, tell the people who you are.
Hi guys, thanks so much for having me, Valentina. My name is Kevin Reyes. I am a DP out of Los Angeles, and I'm so excited to be working with the wonderful Valentina and the rest of the Aputure team. Today's got a lot of cool things in store. We're in a really cool place. What do we got today?
Today, we are shooting this scene in this apartment. We have a lady who had a party last night and she's recuperating from that. So Kevin, when you're in a place like this, there's giant windows, maybe some sun spill potential. What's the first thing as a cinematographer that you look at?
Yeah, that's such a great question. When you have such a big open windows, you see everything from the outside. It's so important to problem solve and set yourself up for success by seeing where the sun's hitting. And I know Val went on a couple location scouts and chose this room specifically.
I would also say that it's really important to know when you're shooting, when in the day you're shooting, and plan for that, as well as what season or what time of the year, because we just had daylight savings actually. So the sunset sets later, and that's something that we had to plan around. All right, I'm gonna talk about lighting in a second, but first I want to set up my frame. So I'm gonna go do that.
COVID high five.
So this is before production design, before lighting, before we do anything. This is what the shot would look like. 3, 2, 1, action. You can see in this before, number one, the windows are properly exposed, but everything in the foreground is dark and it's just very flat looking. So we're going to take every place that is dark and point a light at it. So to figure out what focal length I want, instead of switching it out all the time and checking, you can use an app like the Cartridge app. You can dial in what camera you're using, what lens you're using, and what focal length, and kind of guesstimate it with your phone. And that's how I knew that I wanted to shoot this on a 24. And the reason I want to shoot it on a 24 is because I don't want to see anything beyond this second column. So these 4 windows, we are going to black out so that we can have a little bit more dimension and so that our key light can play more in the scene. This is my thick tape with 2 C's. Thick tape. It's 2 inches. I actually keep a lot of different sizes of tape around. Do you want to see my tape collection? Okay, let's take a look. So I have all sorts of things here, like a little bit of felt just in case. I have some stingers. A black stinger is a must because it can hide in shadows if you need it to. And my little tape collection, I have some 2-inch, 1-inch, 1/2-inch gaffer's tape. I have some white duct tape because gaff tape is expensive. So if you need to grease something with white, use duct tape instead. I have white gaff tape, the actual most expensive substance on the planet. And then I have actually pretty cheap blue gaff tape. So this is when you just need gaff tape, but you don't need it to be black because black's also expensive. I also have just a bunch of grip heads, clamps, cube taps, bongo ties, baby pins. Yeah, I'm a hoarder. So how are we gonna get a lot of light on the inside to expose for the outside? And how are we gonna hide a light so that we don't see it in the wide? So I have the 600D over there. So with the spotlight mount, we might double up on the 600 depending on how strong it is. We're gonna bounce the light with something that is highly reflective. That is mirror board. Now this mirror board is quite heavy. Yeah. So instead of putting it on a C-stand, we're gonna put it on a combo stand, which is just a lot more heavy duty. So we're gonna respect the location. We are gonna put this stand up right against the wall, but you know what? It might move, it might get bumped, it might ruin the wall, and we don't want that because it's a classy place. So you just take tennis balls, cut them up, and then put them on the ends of your stand. If this is a C-stand, you could put it on the legs of your C-stand. Also, these are highly visible, so you can put it on the edge of an arm of a C-stand if you're arming something out and you don't want someone to walk into it. So now, so soft, so good. Unique challenge filming in skyscrapers is that all the other skyscrapers are reflective. So you can see, even though this isn't sunlight, it's reflected sunlight off of that building over there. So this one we're blocking out. Also, it has a little bit of light leakage. It has a little bit of spill, and it's actually spilling onto the couch in not a very pretty way. So I'm going to just gaff tape the edges so that it is a solid line, there's no spill. Taking my thick tape, making the most of it, because this is expensive. So my original plan of using the mirror bounce board actually didn't work out so well. Let's strike it on. As you can see, it's basically the same thing. It hasn't done a lot, which tells me that that mirror board is just not quite mirror enough. If it was a true mirror, it could just directly bounce that light. But because it's more of a hazier, diffused mirror, it's just not punchy enough. So instead, we're gonna need to aim the light directly at the talent. You know, sometimes plans change. That's why cinematography is an imperfect art, and that's why it is art. So my mirror board didn't work. Instead, we're gonna put up the light with the diffusion in front of it. And it's still gonna be a nice, soft, directional kind of look, but it's gonna be a lot stronger now that it's not bounced. So in order to have this light be a lot more directional, I'm gonna put the F10 Fresnel on it. This is basically going to double the intensity of the light, as well as give us an ability to spot and flood it to control how much of that circle of light we want around our talent. In order to add a little bit more light on the foreground, we have this production design here, all these cans, and we have this really dark cabinet. We're going to arm out a 300D just on top of camera over here to add a little bit more to the foreground and again, even out that exposure across the scene. Actually, hey Tway, let's switch it up. Let's put the 60D on here. Let's put the 300 on the legs over there.
Got it.
The 60D can be a lot closer to our foreground here.
Okay.
But the 300 has to be a lot farther from there and it has to cover a larger distance. So I just want the more powerful light on that bigger area. We do see the frame of the light, so Kevin, can you come here?
Fine.
So let's adjust it so that the light is in the door here.
Yep, copy that.
So we are almost ready, we're almost set. I noticed that there is a little bit of light reflecting off the buildings over there, but it's actually doing something really nice. It's giving us a nice rim light. It's highlighting her hair in the back. So I don't mind it very much. When we punch in for the close-up, we can always get rid of that or modify it in some way to keep the continuity going. But for here, I actually quite like it, so happy accident, I guess. We're shooting on the Canon C70 with the Rokinon zoom lens. Also, what's great about the C70 is that it has built-in neutral density filters, so we can really cut down a lot of that exposure from the windows. So the final shot is actually not gonna be on a tripod. We're just doing this for demonstration purposes and to get our shot up. But in fact, I actually wanna couple her mental state with the way that we are doing the camera movement. So she has just woken up, she is very hungover, and everything's a little confusing. So for that, we're gonna do handheld, AKA on a shoulder rig. And to make it a little easier for me, a little bit more smooth, I'm gonna put on the easy rig. Now, one thing I wanna do is audition a couple of diffusion filters from the front to see if they'll add that beautiful halation to the highlights. Going with half pearlescent in order to kind of make it look like it's dreamy, like she just woke up, she's still kind of in a hazy dream. It turns all of the highlights into a little bit of a bloom. I audition things all the time, lights, lenses, filtration. It just means that, well, I'll see if this works. And this works. So good job. All right, let's put it on. Okay, and rolling. All right, we got the wide. Let's move on to the close-up. Let's sweeten it up. Hey, Kevin, can you give me a percent?
KR flying in.
All right, so let's take a look at what focal length you think would look good. So this was the 24, which I kind of like. Would you go tighter than that, or what do you think?
For me, this is kind of like a personal preference thing. I think both work. Since we've already established the entire scene, it might be a cool idea to really get into her emotions with maybe a 50 and really change it up. Kind of throw the background out of focus so we really focus in on her. But I think both work because she's also grabbing her phone, so I think the 24 would work too, so we can see the context. It's your call. I think
How about we split the diff and make it 35?
You're the queen, girl.
So for this, since we've established that we're keying from this side, let's just bring the key light and the diff over here right behind me. And then to get a little bit more negative fill on this side of her face, let's grab that floppy.
That's a great call.
Put it here. And then we'll be good to go. We'll be good to, oh, he'd love to be hanging. Okay, I see how it is, Kevin Reyes. Can we get it more frontal, Kevin?
More frontal, copy.
Yeah, just come as close to me as possible. So one thing that is important is you don't want this to look too artificial. If I keep the key at 100%, if I blast her with light, it just doesn't make sense because there is a wall here, right? So this is meant to be a bounce from the windows. So I'm gonna take it down a little bit. It might not be the same exact exposure as the outside, but it looks more real. Rolling and action. All right, everybody, that's a wrap. Great job. Great job, everyone. Awesome. Oh my God. Great. Get up. Time to do the outro.
We got an outro?
What do you think of the episode?
Where am I? Oh, the episode. You guys, did you guys see that? That was awesome. I personally have so many favorites of that. First of all, the challenge of exposing for an interior when you've got blown out highlights. You could see the buildings, you could see the subject and all the movements therein. I thought that was really impressive. Great job.
Well, thank you so much for being here with me, for experiencing this. I feel so good to have a buddy with me that I can just tell you to do whatever I want. I want to know in the comments, what are other techniques that you use for high contrast scenarios? Let me know for a chance to win an Aputure F7 light. My name is Valentina V.
My name's KR, K-Swiss Money, Eagle flying in, Phoenix rising from the
Our
ashes.
social media links are down below if you want to follow us, and please like this video and subscribe to the Aputure channel. We love doing this for you. I think that's it. So do we live here now, right?
We don't live here. We have to leave. I know you want to, but we have to go. Come on, we gotta go. Let's go.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay.
You forgot your tool. Did you guys see that? That was awesome. I personally have so many favorites of that.
Like when I did the mirror board and it didn't work.
I'm just getting emotional about it, how good that was.